Okay, Chapter 6, Part 2, we are finally going to tackle that unknown quantity called the mole. I know you've heard bits and pieces about what is the mole. What is a mole? A mole? Really? A mole? Yes, a mole. Which, either way it doesn't matter because we're still looking at this number is now grams per mole. To write this number as grams per mole, it would look like this. Grams per mole. Now, I kind of think it should be called masser mole because you got mass on top and moles on the bottom, but as usual, nobody asked me, so we're stuck with grams per mole. That is molar mass. Say it over and over. Molar mass, grams per mole. So, for carbon, the molar mass would be 12.01 grams per mole. I would like you at this point forward to please write out all molar mass to the hundredths place, please. What is the molar mass of chlorine? Well, if you said that the molar mass of chlorine was 35.45, you are correct. That is the molar mass. So chlorine, I have the wrong pen. We'll try the good pen now. All right, okay, maybe I don't have the right pen. We'll try it again. And again. Chlorine, okay, good, is 35.45 grams per mole, molar mass. Lead, okay, lead. Well, this one says 207.2, so that's what I'm going to write, grams per mole. Now, if you have a periodic table that takes it out farther, I would prefer it out to the hundredths place. Yes, molar mass. Grams per mole. So, look at your handy-dandy periodic table and find the molar mass for sodium. And if you told me that the molar mass is 22.99 grams per mole, you are correct. Yay, well done. Find the molar mass of iron. The correct molar mass for iron is 55.85 grams per mole. At this point, you're probably wondering, what is a mole? I would be. I mean, we just wrote it, and the very odd abbreviation. Yeah, I know, it's strange. We abbreviate the word mole as MOL, because, that's easier, right? Yeah, well, whatever. This is a number that you must know. The value for a mole. Hey, guess what? I just had a student walk in, so I'm going to pick on her. So, Kate, what's the value of a mole?
6.022 times 10 to the 23rd.
10 to the 23rd what? Boogers?
Stuff, anything.
Oh, it could be boogers.
Could.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so that is the number for a mole. You absolutely must know this number. By the way, in case you're interested, we celebrate National Mole Day on this number, October 23rd. That's National Mole Day. It's from 6:02 a.m. until 6:02 p.m. So if we had 1 mole of donuts, how many donuts would you have? Well, in this case, 1 mole of donuts, well, let me back up for a second. Instead of a mole of donuts, if I said to you, we have a dozen. Say we have a dozen donuts. How many donuts would you have? Yep, 12. Easy peasy, 12 donuts. But this case, I don't have a dozen. I have a mole. So 1 mole of donuts is... Yes, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd donuts. Now, let me ask you a question. Make a guess. If I had a mole of donuts, if I have a dozen donuts, I can picture the size of a box it would fit in. If I had a mole of donuts, how much space do I need in order to store the mole of donuts? Make a guess, please. Write your guess down. I'd be interested in seeing it later. If I got to store, if I needed to, find a building or find space, I don't know, but that could hold 1 mole of donuts, what would I need to do it? If I had 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd dollars, how many dollars would I have? Well, if I said to you I have a dozen dollar bill, or sorry, if I said to you I had $12 bills, then I could say I had a dozen dollars, which we don't normally say because that's kind of strange sounding, but just like this number represents a dozen, this number represents 1 mole. So this number is always 1 mole, no matter what it is. But the real question is, how big is a mole really? Again, I want to reinforce this idea that a mole is simply a way to package a very, very big number. For instance, if I were to package a number 12, what would I call a package of 12? Right, this is how we package eggs. We package them in a dozen, and the numerical value of a dozen is 12. What would I call a package? Oh, that says there, counting unit. This is a pair. Like a mole, we package things into pairs. That packaging, that is worth 2. 2 per in a single pair. 12 in a single dozen. You might not know this one. This is a ream. A ream of paper is always 500. 1 ream equals 500. Could be sheets of paper, usually is. A dozen could be eggs. Could be anything, truthfully. And then a gross. You might not know this one, but a gross is always 144. It's a way to package. A mole is a way to package. We usually package atoms or we package molecules because we're in chemistry. But we could package anything, truthfully. And this package of atoms or molecules, the numerical value of counting unit, because that's what it says right there, is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. Now, I can picture a dozen, I can picture a pair, I can even picture a ream, and I can kind of picture a gross. But I flat cannot picture a mole. Well, okay, that's not truthfully. I kind of can picture a mole because I'm old and I've been doing this for a while, but really, how big is a mole? If I had, say, a mole of basketballs, how much space would I need to store those? Make a guess. Write it down. I'm interested in seeing your guess. The next thing we're going to do with the mole is have you watch this TED Ed video. It is amazing and it will really help you understand the size of a mole. So that's your next I can't talk. That is the next thing I want you to do. Make sure you watch that video. And then our next video will be how to use the mole.